Hi, this is Mr. Warner. This is going to be a video for students, teachers, and parents or guardians um, who want to learn a little bit more about these Chromebooks that everybody has, kind of what they're capable of, how they might be different than phones or PCs or Macs, and so that you can start making use of this really great tool that you are going to be having access to and working with um, for your academic experience here at Ernest Everett Middle School. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start by looking around the interface. So here is my desktop. You'll notice at the bottom there is a taskbar. And this is kind of going to be our main tool that we will use to get to different parts of the Chromebook, get into different settings, and really anything that we do really will begin here on the taskbar. So a Chromebook is different than a PC or a Mac. It's a little bit more um, kind of controlled or locked down. It's harder to really break from a software side. But over the years, a lot has been added to make these more than just a glorified way to get on the internet. So I'm going to start here in the bottom left-hand corner. You're going to see the circle and a circle. If you click that, first you're going to see a search box. If you type anything in that search box, that will search any of the content on your actual Chromebook, but you can also do a Google search from there. So anywhere you would kind of search, it's also like the bar at the top of Chrome. If you click that, you'll also see your most recent apps or things that you have gotten to. If you click this again, it will disappear, right? This is our launcher. But you see this arrow up here. If you click that, that is going to get to this big list of everything, all the websites or shortcuts or apps that you might have installed on your Chromebook. So think about how on a phone you might see different app icons or other things. There's a list, and you can kind of scroll through these as we go. If you want to get rid of this, you can either click up top or you can just kind of drag it down, or you can just click this button again and it will go away. Okay, so that is our launcher. Going from left to right, I have my files section sitting here. So this is how you can access any of the files that are saved to your actual device. All right, so you can look at recent files, audio, image, videos, files in your download section, but also notice down here, you can get into your Google Drive. So this is my Google Drive built into the Files app, automatically syncing between everything. So if you put anything in this folder from, say, your download section, it is going to back up to Google Drive and you'll be able to access it anywhere you can access your Google Drive files. You don't have to do anything extra for this since, Google makes Chromebooks and Google makes Google Drive. It just works together. Okay. You can go in, you can move folders around, you can make things available offline. So, say you have stuff for a specific class or a project you're working on, you know that you are going to be without internet access. Maybe you're on the bus, or your internet at home is not great, or maybe you're going to be going on a trip. Say you want to make everything in a specific file available offline, you just click that button, right? You wait a little bit for it to download, and then it will download to your Chromebook. Anytime that you are online, it'll sync everything. And anytime that you go offline, you'll have everything there. If you do not want to keep this downloading, because some of these Chromebooks don't have a lot of storage space on them, you just uncheck that and it'll delete it. Okay. You can also go in and share, delete, search, and change the views on any of the files, both in your Google Drive or on your actual Chromebook. Okay, so that is the files section. Notice I have some other bars here. So I have a shortcut to my Gmail, to Google Classroom, to Zoom and Google Meet, School Max, and some other stuff. I will kind of show you how to do that or mess around, add something on here in a little bit. Okay. Over here, we've got our tote. And this is really if you download a file or if you're working on stuff, or say, for example, you want to have a shortcut to a folder that you are working on a lot, say you're recording a series of professional development videos on how to use Chromebooks, you can literally just drag that and drop it down to your tote. And then you can kind of pin it there for easy access. So it's almost like making a little shortcut here. If you double click it, you'll be brought to that specific folder. Okay. And if you want to unpin it, you just click unpin and it goes away. All right. So notice it's only kind of really there if you're using it. If your Chromebook has a stylus, you can get to some of the stylus features here. I'm using a personal Chromebook that has one. If you do not, this will go away. Over here, we have our clock, our battery indicator, our Wi-Fi, and here you can kind of get to some of your other settings and other things on your Chromebook. So think about like Control Center or other stuff. If you click that, it'll show you your recent notifications on your Chromebook up here. You can also get to your settings like Wi-Fi to turn that on and off and connect to different Wi-Fi networks. You can connect to different Bluetooth devices, say your headphones, right? Or in my case, I'm using a keyboard and a mouse. You can turn that on and off, right? So say I wanted to turn off my Bluetooth, I would just click that. And if I want to turn it back on, it would kind of go not blue, it would turn look like this. Say if I want to turn it back on, I would click it again and it would turn blue to tell me that it is on. You can also go into other things like turning on and off notifications for different apps you have installed, auto rotate. If you have a Chromebook that can flip around to be like a tablet, you can turn that on and off like on a phone. I'll come back to this screen capture setting because that's really cool. Night light if you're working at night to help protect your eyes, or kind of other settings will show up here. If you want to turn up and down the volume or up and down the brightness without using, if you don't have buttons on your keyboard, you can get to those there as well. And if you have multiple audio devices or headphones or other things, so for example, I'm using some external headphones to record this audio, you can mess with your microphone volumes and other stuff by clicking on the audio settings right there. All right, so pretty simple. Up here, you can sign out, you can turn off your Chromebook, you can lock it, or you can get into your settings. So I'm going to be going through these settings, some settings in a different video, about how you can get to some of the accessibility features that will really check and help out. Chromebooks update automatically, but if you ever want to double check that your Chromebook is on the most recent version, you can go down here in the bottom left to where it says About Chrome OS, and you can check for updates here. Okay. Then you can kind of get into your more specific settings here, right? Your network settings. So this is your Wi-Fi and other stuff. Your Bluetooth settings. If these are turned off, so don't worry about these on the connected devices, the accounts that are attached to your device. Here you can get into device settings. So if you want to mess with your mouse, right? If you want to move the mouse, have your mouse move faster or slower, that's here. If you want to change the button that is your main mouse button, say if you're left-handed and you want to use the right mouse button as your primary click, that's where you can get to that. Some settings on your scroll pad, right? Like tap to click and dragging and the speed of your scrolling. Personalization is how you can change your account image or the wallpaper. If you do not want to use Google as your main search engine on the Chromebook, you can change that. And some other things here as well, right? If you want to get into advanced, these are some advanced settings, like changing the date and time on your Chromebook, accessing specific files, or your printers and other stuff. If you want to access that too, because it is a computer, you can access printers as well. All right, and accessibility, I will be getting into in a different video because there is a lot there that we can use to make this Chromebook do a lot for you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. So once we actually get into a Chrome tab, this starts to look a lot more like your traditional computer. If you want to add, go in, you can search websites, you can add different tabs. And if you want to create a shortcut like I have here to my Gmail, you just go to the website that you want to create a shortcut for. Right, so for example, here I'm pulling up my Gmail, and say I did not want, let's say I want to not have that there. All right. You can go in, and if you click the 3-dot button right here, scroll down to more tools, you can create a shortcut to that specific website. You can name that shortcut. It'll pull in the icon from the little icon here on the tab. And you can even go in here and say open as window. And when we create that, it's going to create our little shortcut down here. And notice that the Windows or the rest of Chrome has gone away. So this is really just my Gmail. And I can kind of pretend like this or use this, it's the Gmail website, but it kind of looks and feels a little bit more like an app. Okay. So I want to close that. Notice it went away. Uh-oh, right? I wanted to have that on my taskbar. Well, if you created a shortcut, notice it's showing up here, but it also will show up in your list of apps that you have installed. And all you have to do is just drag and drop it onto your taskbar, or you just hit right click and you hit pin to shelf. If you want to get rid of it, you can just right click and you can say unpin and it'll go away. All right. So that is some of the basic management of some of the settings and things in your Chromebook. So say, for example, you wanted to start messing with multiple windows. A lot of the times you might have one window open, but say you wanted to look at two things at the same time. You can click up here on this tab and you can kind of drag it down to pop it out and make its own little window. But say I want to look at both of these at the same time, well, you can do that, right? So Chromebook is just like a computer, a different kind of computer. So you can drag the windows and resize them like this. You can also snap them to two different sides of the screen. So maybe you are in a Google Doc here that you are working on, and maybe you are doing some research here. You can do that, right? You can look at and pull up two things at the same time and work on them, right? And pull in information. I want a little bit more room for my research. So I'm going to stick my mouse in the space between those two and see this little bar that pops up. I'm going to grab that and I'm going to drag it to one side or the other to kind of pin these and move these around. And when I'm done with it, I can just close that and make that full screen again. Okay, say you're working on a bunch of things, right? I have seen students working with a bunch of different tabs or having a million different tabs open on the computer. It never close anything. So what you can do is first, if you're looking for a specific tab in your millions of lists of tabs, you can kind of open up a list of all the tabs you have open, and you can search through the name of the website up here. But say you're going to have some of these open for a long time, and you want to make sure that you save your websites, or you want to keep your tabs a little bit more organized. There is now a feature in Chrome both on Macs and PCs, but also on Chrome OS. If you go up here and you right-click a tab, you will see that this says Add to New Tab Group. And you can add this here. So notice, let's pretend that maybe I've got research and a Google Classroom assignment and something else that I want to pull up over here. I've got all these tabs in this social studies section. Notice that they are highlighted by green. I can always click here and change the color of the tab icon. And if I go over here and I click the name of it, so here maybe these are add to a new tab group. Let's add these and make a science group or tab. Right, so I know I want to come back to these, but I want to get my life a little bit more organized here. Then you can create multiple tab groups and have all your stuff really organized and working together. and say, so now we've got them all sorted and organized. They're in the different sections, but social studies class is over, and now it's second mod, and I really just want to focus on my math stuff. You just click the title of it, and they'll stay there, but they will collapse, right? And they go away. And if you click it, click another one, they will open up here, right? So everything stays there, but you can kind of keep a little bit more control over all of the tabs that you have. And then if you close your window, I made some windows over here. If you close your window, you can also open those back up. And if you go to history, find the one where you had multiple tab groups, you can go to just my social studies tabs, right? Or you can restore the entire window and it'll keep all of the tabs in the same place that they were the last time you were working on your Chromebook. Okay. So what if though, maybe I don't like that, or maybe I'm working on multiple things at a time. So you can also click down here in the bottom left. This is where you're going to see all the windows that you have open on your Chromebook. Okay, so say I have 3 windows open, you can kind of click between them down here, right? I can click to the titles of these and switch between. This is its own little app icon. But I don't know about you, I'm more of a visual person, so I want to go down here. If I click that button, I will see everything. And on your Chromebook keyboard, you'll notice there's an icon that looks like that one. It does the same thing, but you will see all the windows that you have open at a time. So you want to close that window, you can just hit the little X button and it'll go away. If you want to get even more organized, notice up here, there's this bar that says Desk 1. Right, so notice how I added tab groups. You can make window groups on your Chromebook. Right, so let's see, I want to have my classwork, I want to have my email here, and if I drag this window up into the classwork box, notice now I only have my Gmail, but I can go over and click over into this. We got this little slide over animation. So now all of my stuff is in a new kind of virtual desktop. So you could use this for your different classes and class sections as well, and you can make as many of these as you could possibly need, up to 8. And then when you're done with them, you can just close them by hitting the little X in the top right-hand corner. Okay. And so if you close one with a window open, boop, it'll just make it collapse it down and you can rename it whatever you want. Okay, so these are some of the basic features of Chrome OS, right? It is more than just a web browser. It is a desktop. It is a computer operating system that you can access and work on stuff just like you might a lot of your files, especially if you're working on Google Classroom or other classwork. You can get to pretty much everything that you might want to get to on a more traditional like PC or a Mac. It just might be in a slightly different way. Okay. So the last thing that I will show you is the screen capture setting. So say you are ever working on something where you need to take a screenshot, or say you are recording a video for class, a presentation or something like that, just like I'm doing now, you can go in and there's a built-in screen capture on here. So notice, right, now we have this bar that pops out. Everything's kind of grayed out. We have this bar that pops up. There's a little camera icon here. There's a little settings icon here. You can control where stuff gets saved to. And say you want to take a screenshot of something, your teacher asked you to take a screenshot of something you did, or whatever, any other time you would want to keep track of information that is on your Chromebook's screen, you could just click that and you can either take a full screen screenshot, take a window screenshot of just whatever window you have open, or just part of your screen. That's the default. You can select the part of it you want to take a screenshot of. Once, if you, I didn't quite get this right, so you can fix it before you take the picture, right? Right, you can fix it by taking, moving things around. And then when you are ready, in the center, there will be this capture button. Boop. And it just took a screenshot. And notice the tote popped up, and I can get to the file of my screenshot right here. And you can edit it, crop, underline, highlight. You can mark it up and draw stuff on it if you want to. And when you are done, you hit done. You can share it and save it and upload it to Google Classroom or wherever you need to. You can also, if you have the screen capture button, not the older ThinkPads don't have it, but the newer Chromebooks should, screen capture, you can also record a video of what you're doing with voiceover, just like I am doing right now. So, you can pull this up. You can pull up a Word document. It is just going to record the part of it that you have selected. So notice how it's highlighted here. It's not going to record my tabs up top, right? And start typing, right, all of your brilliant thoughts onto this Google Doc or your presentation that you are sharing with the class. And then when you are done, all you have to do is on the bottom, on the taskbar, there is a little stop button that shows up. So if you click that, it will save your video. And now you have a video of your brilliant efforts that you can play and share and add wherever you need to. And notice again, it was just showing the parts that I had selected. All right, again, that's on some of the newer Chromebooks. Okay, now there's a lot more that you can do with your Chromebook. This is just kind of scratching the surface. If you have any requests for things you want to know how to do, or if you have any things that you have found that you think other people would really find useful, there is a link to a Google form in the description to this video. Please go ahead and click there and give me your feedback. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much.